Hello everybody, and welcome to Blue Goose Garage. I've welded the roof brace back in. I had to cut out the metal that's under it, put a new piece of metal down, and then bend up and cut and bend and hit and bang and weld. But I got the brace back on. It's the same as the driver's side. So for the first time in the 4 years that I've had this car, the roof is actually attached to the wheel wells the way it's supposed to be. As close as I can get it anyway. Now, I'm going to fix this. And I've went ahead and cut out all the metal that I wanted to cut out. There's a possibility that I might redo the entire back corner of that rocker again, because I don't like how I did that 4 years ago. 4 years ago, I had a different end goal when it came to this car. I wasn't trying to make it as good as I could make it. I was just trying to get it back on the road. This entire project of this, putting stuff back in, I'm flying by the seat of my pants. I legitimately have no idea what I'm doing. You would normally just replace all that with new metal. I'm piecing it back together, and I'm making it work. I'm going to cut the back of that rocker off, probably to about here. It's rusty, and I don't really think it's good enough for me to use, but I was hoping that I could figure out what I needed to do on mine by cutting that out. I kind of wanted to mention this real quick. To me, it wasn't that long ago that I can remember this car, the red 67, mine, they all had good rockers. Mine might have been totaled and bent, and the red one might have been bent. They weren't rusty at all. And to me, that wasn't that long ago. In reality, it's about 20 years. Time really gets away from you. That's rusted away. There's nothing left. There's just enough of nothing left for me to see how this is supposed to be made. That's two pieces. And that went up to here and welded to the back of this, welded to that, and welded to this. I think there's enough of this left for me to use that flange. So I'm just going to have to make templates and bend metal, make this work. Last night I dropped the gas tank and took the back bumper off. And I did all that because, like I said a minute ago in this video, 4 years ago, my outlook on this car was not the same as it is now. I wasn't concerned with everything looking good, and I'm still not all that concerned with everything looking good underneath the car, but I do want everything to fit the way that it should. And the back bumper didn't fit right because at one point in time somebody has hooked a chain to this rear brace and bent it. It's bent on both sides. I'm just going to have to heat it and bend it and beat it to get it back to where it fits right. I also never did weld the trunk floor in all that good. I'm going to weld all the braces in better. I want to weld it at least a thumb's width, everywhere. The body mounts, this. I never welded this at all. Something to show you is over here, all this doesn't really fit all that bad. It's actually pretty close, and to within the part that I can just knock it in. But you start getting over through here, these don't exactly line up the way they should have. But you get over here and we're way off. I ordered a kit off of eBay. If I had it to do over, this entire trunk floor would have been AMD. So would the braces, so would the body mounts. Trunk pan, that's a 3-piece trunk pan. That one was Dynacorn. Those two were some other brand. That was a kit I got off of eBay, and I've not bought anything else off of that company because of the way that this fit. This was the worst fitting panel I've ever came up with. And you could maybe say that, well, maybe it was the car, but everything fit different to their selves. Nothing fit the way it should have. Even not next to each other. They didn't fit up against each other. None of this stuff fit. The curves were different on all of this, and the stampings are different. These ribs down here are rounded, and over here they're squared. nothing's the same. So I'm just gonna weld that in better, touch it with the grinder, seam seal everything, and then pretend I didn't see any of that. In the future, when the next guy gets to replace the trunk floor again, he'll be hating me. Unfortunately, I'll probably be the next guy. I'm gonna weld all this in the best I can. I'll show you a little bit here and there. Still have to weld that gap, have to make a piece of metal to go there, but I welded all the way across there instead of just tacks. Welded down through there some, welded a gap I had here and some holes. I'll get under the car and show you some more. I've welded all that up all the way across through there, everywhere. Welded some seams up that were cut with a sawzall that really shouldn't have been, I guess. That's just how they got the trunk floor out. Welded all the braces in better. You can see the rusty welds were already there and the fresh welds were me last night and today. Today's a really moist day. Everything's wet, but I've tacked and welded everything better than it was, and braces, body mounts, gas tank stuff, everything's welded as good as I can weld it. Like I said, I welded all the way across through there too. None of this is pretty. It doesn't have to be. I just wanted it as strong as I could make it. The way it was, it wasn't. So now, since all that's welded, I'll touch it with a flat disc on a grinder a little bit, and then seam seal everything like I did over here, and it'll be fine. Some of this is ugly, can't do anything about it. I showed you where I welded everything. But what I haven't mentioned is the reason why I decided to do all this. Because I had been driving the car with the trunk pan in the way it was, with the gas tank braces in it the way it was, and I wasn't concerned with the gas tank falling off or the trunk pan messing up. I did all of this because of the yellow car. When that car was rear-ended in 1972, it was, stock. It had all the stock metal. It had all the stock welds. And the back bumper and quarter panel still almost came into the back seat. So, that was best case scenario. That car was still pretty strong. This one is a weaker car. I'll admit that. So, the frame I'm not worried about. I believe that it's okay. It would handle a rear end collision the same as any of them. It might bend in different places, but it wouldn't break and cause any problems. I was concerned because the gas tank braces weren't really attached the way they're supposed to be. The floor wasn't attached to the car the way it was supposed to be, or to the rocker, or to the wheel wells, or any of that. So now I feel like if I got rear-ended, it would bend closer to the way it should instead of just like a soda can. So the reason I did all this, and I'm still fixing this left corner, is self-preservation more than anything else. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Tell me what you think, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.